California Edison and Edison International Company, that future is now.
Trusted for over 100 years, life powered by Edison.
At Carl's Jr., we could do what everyone else is doing. We could spend a lot of money on cartoon clowns, cutesy toys, or promotional tie-ins with the next big family film. But instead, we put our money in something you actually want. Better meat. The $6 burger with 100% Black Angus beef. Around $4 at Carl's Jr. Because not all Angus is created equal.
The little-known secrets you never knew about the Hollywood sign at 11.
We need your camera. You saw the shooter. There was something in that window. I saw something too.
This week on At the Movies with Ebert and Roeper, Dennis Quaid, Forrest Whitaker, and Matthew Fox witness a terrorist attack in Vantage Point.
So, you're the infamous Charlie Bartlett. Is there a private school you haven't been kicked out of?
Robert Downey Jr. is a principal with a troubled student named Charlie Bartlett.
I will shoot you, and I know robot karate.
Plus, Jack Black is a Ghostbuster, a RoboCop, and he's driving Miss Daisy in Be Kind, Rewind.
Till we find that shooter, we're shutting the city down. This never should have happened, except that it did. And it happened on our watch.
I can't live with that. I gotta find him.
Our first movie is Vantage Point, and from this vantage point, it's a slick disappointment. I'm Richard Roeper.
And I'm Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune, and from my vantage point, Richard, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Slipped past security again, didn't you, sir? All right, here we go. Despite an intriguing setup and a cast that includes Oscar winners Forrest Whitaker and William Hurt, this 21st century Rashomon collapses in a heap of car chases, shootouts, and utterly implausible plot developments. All the action takes place in Spain at a global summit on the war on terror. Sigourney Weaver is in charge of a CNN-type live broadcast as William Hurt's President Ashton takes the podium.
Pull out 4, 3. Oh my God.
The president appears to have been shot.
Freeze, stick with the president, just stay with him. Hold it there. This is insane.
A weary-looking Dennis Quaid plays Thomas Barnes. He's a Secret Service agent who's just back on the job after taking a bullet for the president months earlier. Matthew Fox from Lost plays his partner.
Get him out of here! Get him out of here! Move! Move! Go! Move! We're picking up! 1, 2, 3! You got him? Find that shooter.
And once again, we rewind and see the assassination attempt from yet another vantage point. In this segment, Forrest Whitaker plays an American tourist who becomes a modern-day Zapruder when his video camera captures much of the shooting.
Let's do it.
Now, the ads for this movie give away one of the two big, huge twists in the plot. I'm not going to reveal it here, though. Granted, there's a lot of style and skill on display here, and we do learn something new with each segment. But the more we learn, the less we care. There are far too many shootouts, far too many coincidences, far too many cliches. Michael, stay away from this one.
I have a question for you, though. If you're nervous about giving away the big plot twist that the trailer gives away, I don't understand that. I mean, everybody in the country who's seen the trailer has seen what you can see right here.
You have to respond.
You can't give the order. You've been shot. We risk telling the world that you weren't really there.
We weren't there.
If you want to talk about the one plot twist, you know, that's fine. But you're right. I mean, they do give it away.
But they give it away. I mean,
and it's stupid.
It's stupid. It comes just before the halfway point. And I agree with you. The movie does not work. And I think it's the opposite of the Jason Bourne franchise pictures, which are really only enough plot to make everything else happen. And this is all plot every second. The actors, good ones too.
Very good cast. Very strong cast.
But just kind of functionally pushing this thing forward. And I'll tell you, man, after the 5th flashback, I really felt like I was watching Groundhog Day and like listening to that Sonny and Cher song over and over.
But I wanted to see what would happen each new time with Groundhog Day, and here you're right. By the time you know you hear the church bells chiming and it's 12 noon, about the 4th or 5th time, you're like, it feels played out, and you've got so many cliches, Michael. You get the kind of thing where some people trust the bad guy, and then at the end they're like, but you gave me your word. I'm like, well, they're terrorists. Why did you think they were going to follow through on their words? And certain characters, for them to be in a position position that they're at the end, it would have taken like 12 years of preparation for them to get to that point, which just makes no sense whatsoever.
The one interesting point I think that they got maybe halfway towards solving is they're trying to create this scenario, a modern-day realistic scenario where everybody hates America, and there's a lot of anti-American kind of jingoism going on, and in a way the movie's trying to make you kind of, get you hooked into this complicated flashback structure, but also have one foot in the real world and one foot in the puzzle in that we're, it's meant to be kind of a post-9/11
but also
thriller,
one foot in a bad episode of MacGyver, too. I mean, that's the problem here.
Right.
So, I think it is well made. It is a good cast, but it's kind of a mess.
Yeah, and for me, if it weren't for that chase scene, which is like fairly routine as a setup, but actually the only interesting 15 minutes of film, I would have really checked out around flashback 9 or so.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, next movie. The more we document our lives visually, the more movies we see dealing with this theme of perpetual voyeurism. Think of it, from Blair Witch Project to Cloverfield to Vantage Point, the cheap thrills lurking in this theme of America's unfunniest home videos keeps forcing its way onto our movie screens. George A. Romero's Diary of the Dead is the latest and most despairing of Romero's pictures, which began 40 years ago with Night of the Living Dead. Great film. Romero opens the new film with this sly TV news footage of some bad news regarding the undead.
I don't believe this.
What? Is there something with the camera? Just fix it.
She's still moving.
He's a backup here. He's a backup here.
Are you all right?
The plot follows a group of Pittsburgh film students out in the woods making a mummy movie. The student film director, played by Joshua Close, films everything, every second for posterity's sake. Now, in this scene, Deborah, played by Michelle Morgan, reunites, however briefly, with her family.
I decided, in the end, to show you exactly what happened.
Wages. Let me through. Dad!
Well, you can't go home again. Diary of the Dead may be modest and self-referential, and it doesn't really have much of an ending, but I liked it. It's very crafty when it comes to pulling new variations out of an old theme, like so many entrails. Yes.
I found no creativity here whatsoever.
No!
Yeah, of course, all due credit or sometimes blame to Romero for creating the modern zombie flick and 8 million spin-offs since the original some 40 years ago. But, Michael, first of all, we just saw this in Cloverfield where some kid is so addicted to, shooting everything with his handheld camera, and his friends are saying, oh, it's not real for you unless it's on camera. I mean, we just saw that. And we have an entire other film that every single shot is with the handheld jiggly stuff, which I'm so tired of. And I'm zombied out. These are the same zombies we've seen in 100 other movies. They don't do anything except for lurch forward, and you have to shoot them in the head, and they want to bite you, and they want to eat you.
Right.
The first couple of scenes were pretty cool, pretty interesting, with the news footage and the kids making the movie. After that, it was the same old zombie stuff.
I think if you take that first scene where you see the news footage, which has been allegedly uploaded to the internet, right? Where an ordinary crime scene turns into this sort of like unholy undead melee. Right?
Yeah, that was fun.
Right. I like it, and I think that's the key to appreciating the picture, because it's more about this mordant sense of humor than it is about real gut.
Yeah, but Michael, that's not what the rest of the picture is. Okay, now we get in the RV and we have to run over zombies, and we get in battles with zombies, and then we get to a house, and here come the zombies shooting their arms through the walls and coming after us.
Yeah, but you're making it sound like
we've seen that all before.
Yeah, but you're making it sound too ordinary.
I'm not making it sound too ordinary. It is too ordinary.
I know you're all about speed, and you're all about 28 days and 28 weeks later. Pictures I liked a lot, and there's actually kind of a sly dig at
those were
pictures.
HGH zombies,
But did you like the scene in the Mummy movie within a movie, in this one, where the director's actually saying, no, zombies move much slower than that.
But again, we're going back to the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then it just collapses under its own weight. The same stuff we've seen a million times before.
Disagree.
All right, sir. Later in the show, Jack Black asks customers to be kind. Rewind.
And next, Robert Downey Jr. tries to rein in a high school pill dispenser by the name of Charlie Bartlett.
Every award season, America's most trusted critics tell it like it is.
We haven't agreed yet.
But this year, the only place you'll see their picks is on the internet.
We're inside a computer.
Join Richard Roeper and guest host Michael Phillips for If We Pick the Winners.
Richard's pick is...
available on atthemoviestv.com, the online home of Ebert and Roeper.
On March 2nd, Honda's bringing the whole community together. the 2008 Los Angeles Marathon, presented by Honda.
I got through menopause fine, but my skin took it rough.
Gold Bond Ultimate Healing Lotion, 7 intensive moisturizers and 3 vitamins.
Now my skin looks as young as I feel.
Can your lotion do that?
Gold Bond Ultimate Healing. This stuff really works.
Switch your old dandruff shampoo to one that's clearly different. New Selsun Blue Naturals. Clearly stops flakes and itch.
So soft.
Clearly gentle with vitamins and botanicals. New Selsun Blue Naturals.
The difference is clear.
At Infinity, we anticipate that you will constantly be surrounded by things you'll need to avoid. Introducing the all-new Infinity EX with the world's first around-view monitor. Ordinary is seeing behind you. Extraordinary is seeing around you. The all-new EX from Infinity.
Sean P. Diddy Combs and Scott Baio, next live.
I just can't handle this place. Well, duh, dude. This place sucks. But I just worry that one day we're gonna look back at high school and wish we'd done something different. So maybe you should,
Get breast implants. I mean, a lot of my friends are getting them.
Well, that's up to you, but speaking as a guy, it's kind of a turnoff when a girl isn't cool with being herself.
Imagine if Ferris Bueller had a son and that kid had all of Ferris's smarts but very little of his charm. You'd have Charlie Bartlett. This is a smug and smarmy little film plagued by an incredibly annoying performance from Anton Yelkin as the title character. After he's kicked out of yet another prep school, Charlie has to enroll in a public high school. Robert Downey Jr. plays the ineffectual Principal Gardner, whose daughter has piqued Charlie's interest.
Don't worry, Charlie. I'm not going to call you into my office and have one of those intimidating father-boyfriend talks. I'm not that kind of dad.
Well, thank you.
Because if I were one of those dads, I'd probably say how my job is a distant second to my daughter.
The talented, but sometimes too mannered Hope Davis gives another one of her indie cred performances as Charlie's booze hound, pill-popping mom.
And we knew who we were then. Girls were girls and men were men. Mister, we could use a man like Herbert Hoover again.
As Charlie dispenses pharmaceuticals and advice to his classmates, he becomes the most popular kid in school. Principal Gardner sees this little jerk taking over his school and corrupting his daughter, and his response to this is potentially catastrophic. Okay, there are some interesting takes on stock characters such as the school bully and a suicidal kid and a cheerleader, but even those creative touches feel overwritten and overplayed. Charlie Bartlett aspires to be a worthy successor to films such as Pump Up the Volume and Rushmore, but I think it falls far short, Michael.
Boy, to even mention Rushmore in the same sense with this turd, you know, here's the other thing, too. Halfway through the picture, you're starting to think about things like, could I get a mid-story transfer of this character maybe into Lord of the Flies and really just watch him fend for his life, because he is an aggravating little pisher, and there's nothing in the performance or the writing that gets you anywhere above or beyond, say, Running with Scissors territory, which is not the territory you want.
That's some bad stuff.
Don't
Yeah,
like
I mean, I think it just has the wrong feel. It's overly sincere in some cases, and then it feels overly hipsterish, or at least aspiring to be hipsterish in other moments. So you just feel like it's the kind of film that, oh, I bet this will wow the crowds at Sundance, and I picture people kind of walking out of it as it's playing.
And you
at
mentioned
Sundance.
the word mannered, okay, right? And I love it when people talk about a screenplay like Juno with the word mannered attached. And it's like, yes, it's in a non-realistic style, but here, in this picture, you got mannered that doesn't have any wit and anything. And if it weren't for Robert Downey Jr. as the principal, this thing would be Zippo. I mean,
yeah, but he's like a really good guitarist who joins a garage band and just plays one song and then walks off. And you're like, well, I'd like to see more of him. Okay, later in the show, Angelina Jolie is the sexiest animated temptress since Jessica Rabbit in our video segment.
And next, Jack Black and Mos Def star in Be Kind, Rewind.
Be Kind, Rewind videos a la carte.
One glamorous night, one legendary event. The Academy Awards are here on ABC7. Watch the stars arrive on the red carpet. After the awards, meet the winners at Oscars exclusive parties. An evening at the Academy Awards. Sunday on ABC7.
The year's best performances. Hollywood's biggest night here on ABC7. Delivered in striking style by the new Jaguar XF. The perfect fusion of sports car and luxury sedan.
Oh, this is so relaxing.
Thanks for inviting us.
Anytime.
Hey, are you two into trying new things?
Are you talking about what I think you're talking about?
I hope so.
My new sirloin steak melt? Hot and hearty sirloin strips, grilled onions, and 3 kinds of melting cheese nestled between warm grilled sourdough?
Yeah. Let's make a Jack sandwich.
President Millard Fillmore, best remembered as the first president to have a running water bathtub. He's unheard of. So we are honoring him during Kia's Unheard Of President's Day sale with unheard of deals on the Kia Sportage and the Kia Spectra. To commemorate Millard's bath time, we've created this Millard Fillmore soap on a rope.
Get unheard of deals, like up to $3,000 cash back on the Spectra.
Jack has to think fast to stop a new terror attack next 24.
What I'd like to know is how you rob a bank without opening any doors.
Okay, looking at movies now in theaters. Jumper was a box office hit. I thought it was slick and good looking and completely dopey. I didn't recommend it. Also didn't like the Spiderwick Chronicles. But Michael, I had a lot of love for Definitely Maybe, a surprisingly good, I thought,
I'm with you
romantic comedy.
Yeah, that's much better than average, especially for this time of year. And Jumper, if I was 14, I'd be there. I wouldn't listen to us on Jumper, but yeah, I agree with you. Not very good.
All right, then.
You ever wonder if you're the last person on your block with a shelf full of video cassette tapes? You're not alone. The writer-director Michel Gondry understands your retro streak. Whether you understand his is another matter. Be Kind Rewind takes place in modern-day Passaic, New Jersey, which seems to be caught in a late 80s time warp. Jack Black plays Jerry, who accidentally magnetizes himself and then wreaks havoc in the video store that time forgot.
What is that? Why is it doing that when you do that? What is wrong with you? You're magnetized. You erased these tapes. It's you.
That's Mos Def's manager, Mike. So, what to do? Remake everything in the story yourself. With the help of Alma, played by Melanie Diaz, Mike and Jerry start cranking out no-budget 20-minute versions of everything from Ghostbusters to Driving Miss Daisy. Here's the Rush Hour 2 mashup.
Lee, what you doing down there, man? Carter, behind you! Behind you, look out! Lee, this Chinese bamboo ain't gonna hold.
Don't worry, Carter. Chinese bamboo, very strong.
The customers end up going for these remakes, which are 100% YouTube in spirit. Now, Gondry's actually guest curated a bunch of stuff on YouTube lately. Anyway, Mike and Jerry's homemade blockbusters become a true neighborhood project. There's also a sliver of a romantic triangle behind the camera.
Hey, you're trying to kiss me.
Why not?
Why not? Are you in love with me? Mm-hmm.
I don't care whether Be Kind Rewind is realistic or not. Of course it's not. Nobody whined about realism and eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. That was the Gondry film, fascinating film, I thought, where Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet paid to have their lovelorn memories wiped clean out of their heads. By contrast, this is very small potatoes, and the whimsy of Be Kind Rewind gets pretty sticky, so I can't quite recommend it, but I'm not giving up on this filmmaker. Gondry's mistakes are more interesting, I think, than most people's successes. So mixed, but not quite.
I want to be kind and rewind for a second here, because it sounded to me, for 90% of your review, you were recommending this film. You're like somebody who takes somebody on a date.
I'm trying to look for the positive.
You go home without giving the girl a kiss. You like this film, just
I like this filmmaker. It's 2.5 stars, which means right in the middle, and I can't quite recommend it.
Well, I am recommending it for all of the reasons you said in your positive review that you just gave that you're not acknowledging yet. Okay. And of course, it's not realistic. And you know, Gondry does this interesting thing in this film and in Eternal Sunshine, where there's some high-tech ideas, but it's done with very low-tech equipment. And you know, in this case, they're remaking these movies. And you know, I'll tell you what, I'd rather see their versions of some of these movies, including Driving Miss Daisy and the Rush Hour films, than the original.
Rush Hour 2 especially. But okay, now here's the thing, though. Did you see Science of Sleep, the previous?
Yeah, and I didn't like it. I thought that was too far with the whimsy and the cutesiness.
This one does not go far enough for me. I think there's a sweetness in there that does pay off by the end of this picture, because it's surprisingly touching, where you see this homemade documentary on the life of Flat Swaller. But I think all the comedy and the relationship between Mos Def and Jack Black very forced. And it's
not forced at all. These guys are very funny.
The good stuff in the
and the last 15 minutes, it's like something straight out of a Preston Sturges film. I just loved it. I thought it was touching and sweet. And I'm also working on my screenplay about a store filled with only HD DVD as well. So
mixed, I say.
Okay, Michael, changing gears to a very serious film here. One of the darkest chapters in recent American history is explored in straightforward and devastating fashion in the Oscar-nominated documentary Taxi to the Dark Side. Writer-director Alex Gibney takes us through an excruciatingly thorough investigation of the American military's treatment of prisoners in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Cuba. We hear firsthand from a number of military personnel that participated in interrogation tactics that fit anyone's definition of torture.
My interrogation training consisted of basically, they taught us some approaches, you know, how to get people to talk. And then here, go watch these guys interrogate, which were the people that we were replacing, for about 5-6 hours before I did my first interrogation.
Watching Taxi to the Dark Side, I felt sorrow for the tortured prisoners, I felt sorry for the American soldiers, and I felt something else for the brass that has tacitly endorsed this very shameful practice.
Absolutely right. I think it is a good film, and this director was also executive producer on No End in Sight, which is certainly one of the best documentaries I saw last year, and probably the best overall picture of the Iraq conflict, if you want to use the neutral phrase, okay? But this is a very good kind of opposite approach. One person's story specifically and really narrowly told, and then it opens up to this horrible sort of like overview of really everything that hasn't worked.
It's very shameful, and it's, you know, it's not a liberal film, it's a humanitarian film, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and sharp filmmaking.
Sure. Coming up next, Angelina Jolie has a built-in tail and spiked feet, but she's still hot in our video segment. But first, here's a look at what's coming up on next week's show.
Mary, you've obviously made a deep impression on the king.
What?
Here comes Jackie!
50 years of innovation, performance, and building dependable cars and trucks have led to this. Nissan's 50th anniversary sales event. See your Nissan dealer now for special 50th anniversary deals, like 2,500 Nissan cash back on Xterra and the Nissan Rogue, now starting at just $19,995. Nissan's Big 5-0. This event ends soon. Don't miss it.
Ready, honey?
Ready.
You looking?
Not looking. Are you looking? Ooh, look at that.
You're looking.
I'm not
You're looking.
Can I help you? We just need to walk through the bath department. We can't look.
Because can't afford a remodel right now.
Well, actually, you don't have to spend a lot to make a big difference. Really?
Let Lowe's show you how to give your kitchen or bath a makeover without giving your budget a workover.
Look at that one.
Uh-oh. Honey?
You don't have to spend a lot to fix up your kitchen either.
Lowe's.
Oh, good.
Good.
Let's build something together.
Mercury Insurance is committed to providing the lowest car insurance rates possible, but low rates are just the beginning. Our independent agents will bend over backwards, look at every possible scenario, and recommend a policy that's right for you. Our customers typically save hundreds and get better service. Call your local independent agent today and find out how low you can go. How low can you go? How low?
Visit MercuryInsurance.com or give us a call at 888-4Mercury to get a fast free quote and start saving today.
That cold ain't the weather. That's death.
We can last a month.
Looking at movies new on DVD, 3 movies I cannot recommend: 30 Days of Night, Goya's Ghost, and Death at a Funeral. However, I am recommending Beowulf, which has that kind of motion capture animation, and Ray Winstone, who in real life is not exactly in the best shape in the world, is suddenly transformed into a real gladiator.
I'll have your lizard head on a spike!
And of course, you have Angelina Jolie, who's naked in this movie, even though she's not really naked, because that's the miracle of this modern animation. And I saw this, Michael, in 3D. I think it worked great in 3D. On DVD, I don't know if it's going to be as much fun, but the visuals are cool, and they take an ancient, legendary poem and turn it into a modern-day, rip-roaring
piece of dreck.
fight
I agree.
movie.
I agree.
Oh, it's fun.
It's got 20 good minutes of the dragon fight. I would watch Beowulf: The Dragon. You know, that would be my movie, because the 20-minute climax at the end with the dragon stuff, very good. The rest of it, no thank you.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. Anthony Hopkins kind of hamming it up.
With a digital beard.
With a digital beard. Yeah, nicely done.
Here's an odd but rewarding picture about strangers on a train. The strangers just happen to be brothers reuniting for a journey across India to find their mother. The Darjeeling Limited stars Owen Wilson, Jason Schwartzman, and Adrian Brody as Americans abroad, each dragging his own family baggage.
I guess I've still got some more healing to do.
You're getting there, though. Anyway, it's definitely going to add a lot of character to you.
More than anything, director Wes Anderson's film is a triumph of color and movement.
Hello.
I make this recommendation knowing that this is not a general audience comedy. It's just too eccentric for some tastes. But it's certainly Anderson's second best film after Rushmore, and I think there's a heart beating underneath all the art direction.
I agree, Michael. I think it's a sweet film, and the three guys are a lot of fun in this movie.
Yeah,
the three main guys. Okay, so Beowulf and the Darjeeling Limited, well, they're going to be in stores on Tuesday. And we'll be back to recap this week's show right after this.
Closed captioning for Ebert and Roeper is sponsored by...
Man has evolved to the point where he no longer needs to stand in line for tickets. The MovieTickets.card, available only at MovieTickets.com.
Bluetooth hands-free link, MP3 connectivity, ELS surround sound. All the luxuries of the modern world. To go, the Acura TL. Acura. Advanced.
Take advantage of attractive lease rates on the 2008 Acura TL for well-qualified customers. There are many easy ways to help the environment, like choosing the new Arrowhead Eco-Shape bottle with 30% less plastic, which means less impact on the earth. Because when we all do a little, it can add up to a lot.
Remember when $1 bought you a nice cup of coffee? Times change. Remember when $1 bought you a few gallons of gas? Forget about it. Remember when your garage had plenty of storage space? Oi!
Times may change, but at Public Storage, one thing remains the same. Just $1 still pays for your first month's rent at over 2,000 locations. So even in today's economy, you can still get a great value and regain your space. Call 1-800-44-STORE today to reserve your unit. Public Storage, the real storage experts. Call 1-800-44-STORE.
When it comes to large SUVs, the Honda Pilot gives you less to park and more to love. The 8-passenger, spacious, amazingly maneuverable Pilot from Honda. Once again, one of Car and Driver's 5 best trucks.
Lease a Honda Pilot for $259 a month for well-qualified customers.
Guests of Ebert and Roeper stay at the Peninsula Chicago, the city's most exciting luxury hotel, located in the heart of Chicago's Magnificent Mile.
Okay, recapping the movies in this week's show. Neither of us like Vantage Point or Charlie Bartlett. Michael is recommending Diary of the Dead. I am not. I'm recommending Be Kind, Rewind. He's just not quite there on it. But we both give very strong recommendations to the documentary Taxi to the Dark Side.
Yeah, I'd recommend people see Definitely Maybe, or if they don't like that romantic comedy, then Diary of the Dead. So
nice double feature for folks there. And remember, please, to go to atthemoviestv.com all weekend, because I'm going to be blogging in video and in text form from the site of this year's Academy Awards. That's it for this week. Until next week, the balcony is closed.
Oh, man. Everything's better with toppings, like new shortcake pancakes at IHOP. Fluffiness topped with decadence only at IHOP. Come hungry, leave happy.
My Bliss? New Blistex Soothing Splash Lip Infusion. Cool Rollerball? Soothing Liquid Formula. Discover Bliss. Discover Blistex.
The rhinovirus, a leading cause of the common cold. Why just cover up the symptoms of your cold when you can get over your cold faster with Zicam?
Choose the smarter way to regulate your digestion. Plum Smart has a unique blend of prebiotic fiber, magnesium, and potassium. Try Plum Smart and new Plum Smart Light from Sunsweet.
The digital evolution is coming, and ABC7 wants you to be ready. Digital TV's got better picture, better sound, and more channels. In fact, digital is the very best way to experience television. Starting February 17th, 2009, all broadcast TV has to be digital by law. Some TVs will need an upgrade to get digital, and ABC7 wants you to get the facts so you can continue to enjoy all your favorite programs. Visit dtbanswers.com to learn more, or call this number to find out how you can be prepared.
Wherever there's snow, you can bet there's a Jeep 4x4 close by.
And now, when you test drive any new Jeep vehicle through March 2nd, 2008 at your local California Jeep dealer, you'll receive a free lift pass to Bear Mountain or Snow Summit. Nothing goes better with extreme winter sports than the most extreme 4x4s on Earth. So hit the slopes and have fun out there.
Now, well-qualified returning lessees get a low-mileage lease on a 4x2 Grand Cherokee Laredo for just $279 a month.
Mom and Dad were having a hard time communicating on the phone because of hearing and memory loss.
So we got them specialized telephones at no charge through the California Telephone Access Program.
And now they can call their friends and do more leisurely activities.
But they don't really call us that much anymore.